This time, my review is going to be of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Echoes of Time on the Nintendo Wii. Now, this game actually is, a pretty good game for, the Crystal Chronicles series and all that stuff. That they started off on the GameCube with the first Crystal Chronicles, but, and then they had, I think they had, one more after that, which I think was, no, actually, no, this is the second one. Then the third one's that new one that just came out, last week or so. This game, I'm a Final Fantasy fan, like I've said in my movies, I've never really beat one, but I did play a lot of them, and I do like RPGs and everything, but, this game actually is quite fun, and it has, interesting style to it and story and everything. And, it actually is a good, game to play with. It's kind of like a multiplayer game, although it really, unless you have a DS with the DS version of the game, or if you're playing online, it's a single player game automatically. But if you can have other people with a DS version of the game with a DS, or if you can have an online connection, you can actually start playing the game multiplayer. But basically, the gameplay, it's like the whole go into dungeons, defeat monsters, pick up the items that they drop, fight bosses, level up, give yourself equipment items, and level up while you use them and everything. So basically, it's like a normal Final Fantasy game in a way, just more of the Crystal Chronicles style to the series and everything. The presentation, the graphics, they do have it's like it's the normal style that they've used in Crystal Chronicles since that version of Final Fantasy began back on the GameCube. Back when that game came out, I forgot when Crystal Chronicles #1 came out. I think it was 2003 or something like that. It kind of has that chibi kind of art style, the characters are they look like they're younger and they're small, they're some kind of a chibi art style to them and everything. Although most of them are older and everything, but that's what the kind of style does to video games and anime and everything. But it does have that kind of style that they've had basically since the series started back on the GameCube version, the original. But they're good graphics. It's different. I don't think they should use the same kind of realistic style for every single game. They should have different styles, for almost every single Final Fantasy game. All games out there should have some kind of different style to them and everything. Being the same actually is kind of boring and everything. The sound, the sound in this game actually is, good. The sound, music in the backgrounds, and is pretty good. And some of the voice acting is, okay. From the parts I heard, because there's only a few scenes in the game that have voiceovers. Most of them are just text and everything. But from the voice acting skills I've heard so far, from the intro scene and a few scenes here and there after that part, although I think really far in the game or anything, they're pretty good. And the music in the background actually feels like it kind of fits the mood for what place you go into and everything. If you're in a city or if you're in a mountain, a dungeon, they feel like that. They feel like they kind of go along with the feeling what the place should feel like and everything. The story, basically, your main character is some new some kid coming of age in some village in the forest. I think 16 or something like that. And they have to go on this quest to become an adult, to move on, this coming of age ceremony and stuff like that. And you have to go to the forest, and you have to pass this test, and pretty much you passed it. And then some person from your village that knew you since you were a child basically gives you a crystal for accomplishing it. And then basically your sister, after you come out, your sister takes the crystal and becomes sick from it, getting the so-called crystal sickness and all that stuff, which was supposedly a sickness that hasn't been seen for years or anything, and pretty much besides your village hardly anyone knows about it. So you basically go on a quest to try to find the sickness, find the cure to it, and you meet this archaeologist type guy in the library, and he tells you how to get it. Then you have to go in the sewers, and you have to beat this horn and all that stuff, and you help your sisters back together. And basically the archaeologist guy wants you to do stuff for him, and basically you continue doing quests for him, and so on and so forth. I can't really go much further because that's basically how far I got. And And it's an interesting story from what I played, and I'm gonna probably run this game again so I can get further in this game. I haven't really got like far or anything. I only got to like the part where you go to the ice mountain, and that's not really far in the game at all. But I'm actually gonna give this game another chance in the future. It's not like it's gonna be anytime soon or anything, but it will be sooner or later. It'll be sooner or later. And basically, the multiplayer game, I only barely played multiplayer online, and the connection I got was really bad. I think I was playing someone from Japan or something. The name was in Japanese or something like that, unless you can put your name in Japanese or any other kind of letter. I don't know. I was doing a worldwide thing, and the connection was, really bad, but I think it was probably the fact that it was a worldwide long connection and stuff like that. I think the connection's pretty much average for any other time. I only was able to get online once, so I can't really say much about the online in the game. But from what I played, multiplayer is pretty good, and like I said, you could also have like, but that's all I played though. But you could also have like people from your DS like connect to your Wii and actually go in and you know, you can have them join you if they have a version of the game, the DS version of Echoes of Time, and a DS they can connect and join and play. But I don't have the DS version, so I couldn't try it, and I really didn't get to play with anybody else besides online, which was only once, so I can't really say much about the multiplayer. So basically, in the end, I think this game actually is quite fun. It actually is a decent RPG game for the Wii. Not the best, but it's not the worst either. It has decent online. I can't really say much about that because I only did it once, and basically the match I was playing in was and basically like the match I was playing in did have some bad connection, but I don't think that's all the time. I think that was just an occasional bad connection, and it kind of got disconnected and whatnot. But it has decent online, and you can play with other people, so it can be used as a multiplayer thing. But I would recommend you level yourself up before you do it, because when I did try going online, I was in a battle against two other characters, and I got decimated with one attack. They destroyed me in one attack. I was like level 4. I just wanted to try out the online service. I already knew I probably would get my butt kicked or something, but I didn't know we were doing a battle minigame. I thought we were going to be teaming up or something, but they ended up picking that game anyways. I don't know. But, make sure you're leveled up a little bit before you go online, though. That's my recommendation. And, this game has an okay story. But I didn't even know you had to play most of it yet. But, an okay story. So basically, the bad thing about this game is the fact that it is a DS import. It's a DS, like, port of the game. A port of the DS version of the game. I mean, a DS import. A DS port. I'm sorry, I keep saying import. I'm sorry about that. A DS port of the game. So basically, the game I think is specifically made for the DS because when you play the game, it has two screens on the TV, and you could use the minus and plus button to make certain screens bigger. The minus for the main screen, the plus for like what the touch screen on the DS would be. So basically, you're only using part of the screen for the game. So that's the bad thing about it. They could have just edited it and made it like full screen game version. They could have fixed it a lot more than making a direct port and everything. At first it was really annoying. After a while, you get kind of used to it, but still, it's kind of annoying that they did that, and the fact that they made support. So that's the only thing bad about the game I really could say. So basically, I give the gameplay an 8.5 out of 10. The presentation, the graphics of the game, an 8.5 out of 10. They're pretty good for, the Crystal Chronicles kind of GBR style that they have for them. The sound of the game I give a 9 out of 10. It's pretty good. The voice acting's okay. And, the background music's pretty good too. It's not perfect or anything, but it's good. The story, for what I played of it, I give it 8.5 out of 10. And the multiplayer, for what I played of it, was a 7.5 out of 10. So, basically, in the end, I give Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, The Echoes of Time, on the Nintendo Wii, the Wii version of the game, 8.4 out of 10, which I'll round up to an 8.5. And if you're a Final Fantasy fan, especially the Crystal Chronicles version of the game, which is more like multiplayer based, I would recommend you play this game. If you're not like familiar with it, maybe a rental or buy. It's worth playing. You can play the DS version or the Wii version. They're pretty much the exact same game, anyways. And basically, it's a fun game. And that's the review. See you guys later.